Starting the month off, we've got To the Moon. Developed by Freebird Games and released in 2011, To the Moon tells the story of two doctors traveling through the memories of a man on his deathbed to give him the life that he always wanted, making his final hours on Earth fulfilling. To the Moon is also the first game in a series, Sigmund Corp. Each game has a similar premise about this organization that has a device that allows them to travel through people's memories, normally starting at the most recent ones and working their way backwards, although to this date, each entry of the series does take a different spin on this. This being the first game, it takes the most direct approach with it. Our two doctors are Neil Watts and Eva Rosaline, and their client is Johnny. His dying wish is to go to the moon, although he doesn't really specify why, as he himself doesn't exactly know why he wants this. Eva and Neil travel through his memories, and we learn a lot about his troubled past along with his now deceased wife, River. This is one of the most beautiful games I've ever experienced in my life. I don't have the words for how much this series means to me. I have played through every game of the series multiple times. I remember one Christmas I bought 4 different copies of the game for my friends hoping they would play it. I think one of them played it for like an hour, but hey, the people I streamed it to really seemed to enjoy the story. We have a highlight reel of us going through the game on my other channel, Movie Mackle.
Well, excuse me for heroically evading the squirrel coming out of nowhere.
You ran over it anyways.
Oh.
From its characters, to the story, to its amazing soundtrack, there's just so much to appreciate about it. The game starts off by giving you very little information on what these two doctors are here to do, but when it slowly starts to introduce you to its premise, it's a very damn interesting way to start off the game. But it only gets more and more interesting from there, with so many great reveals as you work your way through Johnny's memories. With you traveling through his memories in reverse, a lot of the game's saddest moments actually take place at the very start of the game, as you see a version of Johnny who would even want Sigmund Corp services in the first place. As you move back, you can see a lot of the happier moments of his life, but also the events that led to where he is now. It's a pretty heartbreaking experience, although the game is full of really charming and lighthearted moments as well. A lot of that comes from the two doctors, Neil and Eva, who are fantastic characters to experience these memories through. A majority of the game's humor comes from them, but you also get to know them and care about them by the end of the game. They even come back in the sequels with continuing story arcs of their own. The music, top-notch. I think every entry of the series has a great soundtrack. To the Moon's music is a lot more calm and sad. There really is a strong focus on negative memories in this game, and the music reflects that, even being pretty unsettling at times. Finding Paradise, its sequel, goes for something a lot more whimsical, which matches that client's personality a lot better, while Imposter Factory almost goes for a horror soundtrack. We'll get to those games later this month. Despite a lot of the sadder music in To the Moon, you also get some really beautiful music mixed in, with some of the more positive moments that serve as a great contrast to those previous scenes. You start to see the potential life that Johnny could have had, and even the one that he did have at one point. A pretty big theme of this game is finding good moments in what was a difficult life. The ending isn't any more important than any of the moments leading to it. The important thing is that over here, they are happy. Let's move on. That even though things didn't end up so well, these were still good moments. In terms of gameplay, it's very minimal. There's some pretty easy puzzles to solve, and you have to collect different mementos traveling through Johnny's memories in order to keep moving back, although a lot of these are just collected automatically as you're experiencing the story. But I don't think this is a bad thing. A video game still does seem like the appropriate art form for this story to take on. A movie wouldn't be long enough, a show would be less practical, a graphic novel wouldn't be able to include the amazing soundtrack. A video game works perfectly. It really allows you to sink in each of these memories at your own pace and gives you time to think before moving forward. Granted, there is actually a To the Moon movie in development. I'm excited to see it, and I'm happy that it'll make the story more accessible to people who maybe aren't very interested in video games or just don't have the time for them, but I do think it's highly unlikely that I'll enjoy it more than the game. Unless it's like 3 to 4 hours long, which I doubt it. Still looking forward to seeing how they'll handle it. The creator of the series, Ken Gao, seems to have a lot of faith in it, and you know, that's enough for me. If I had any notes about the game, it would be just something small like, visually the sequels get better. There's some maps in the game that look a little bit cluttered. I think there's a lot of really nice artwork in the game, but with just how the environments are designed, yeah, they improve in Finding Paradise a good bit. But I mean, that's what you want from a team, right? For them to improve their craft as time goes by. I seriously can't recommend this game more. It's on Steam, it has an HD remake on mobile, which eventually got ported over to Nintendo Switch. You got some options on how to play this, and I think you'll get a lot from the experience if you give it a shot. It's one of my favorite stories of all time. Check it out and see if this trip to the moon is for you. I'm sorry, I've got nothing. I don't have to try to end all these with a clever line, do I? No, we wouldn't want to see you hurt yourself trying to think of something clever now, Spiny. Fuck off, Dr. Howard, you're not allowed to be in these.